ESG, as it stands for, talks about environmental sustainability and governance, right? As a concept or as a principle, ESG is basically a kind of a parameter or a scoring mechanism that help you to understand, or that helps one understand about the business conduct, the organization business conduct and risk-taking practices. Now, the higher the ESG score somewhere, represent a very healthy, environment, business practices, risk-taking practices, and, consideration that they do, and the lesser ESG score will be vice versa. Now, in today's world, why this is important is because we have seen, we have seen a lot of environmental changes, forest fires, floods, flash floods, whatnot, and it all impacts business. An investment I make is, say, in a US market. If there is a forest fire in California and the company in which I invest, doesn't get supply for 15 to 20 days, its business operations get impacted. It will impact the, the sales, the revenue, the return, etc. It will have a ripple effect across. So now what these ESG is trying to do is trying to make corporate responsible, and with this reporting and the data that they are gathering, they are trying to understand that how corporate are looking at environmental aspect of the requirements from a corporate standpoint. The sustainability, what are they doing from a sustainability perspective, not just environmental but business sustainability. And governance is basically how their program is being managed, what controls are in place, and how they plan to run the business operation, keeping in line with the constraint and challenges that are faced by environmental change. Now let's take an example. Suppose there is a company that is impacted by a data breach, right? Now when a data breach happens, it directly causes, in most cases, a social, psychological, financial and emotional harm to the person whose data has gone out. That's how you assess a data breach. Now, if that happens, then there is a lot of news and media floating around that happens, and the brand really gets impacted. Regulator will come and they might impose a fine on you if you are at fault. So that is also a loss. And since your data is breached, regulatory fine comes into picture, and your brand is in the bad news, there will be immediately impact on your share prices, which will impact your customer and investor confidence, right? So if you see this sequence of event, right, everything have a negative impact on the financial, which will, as I mentioned, have an impact on your profits and the shareholders' return of investment. So data privacy, though it is a concept of privacy, but if you look at it, it is coming and sitting into the governance aspect of ESG, where why these scores are important to assess the financial stability, right? That becomes important. We have seen millions and billions of dollars and pounds being imposed on Facebook, Google, WhatsApp, so many other companies, because of certain malpractices, data breaches, non-compliance. That all has taken out some chunk of the business, profit and value that they used to have, which could go to customers, which could go to as a return to investors and whatnot. So that's why there is a good thought process to include privacy score as a part of governance, under the governance pillar of ESG, because we say that data is new oil or new gold. Again, I'm repeating myself, but yeah, it becomes utmost important to understand how well organization is placed to use the customer data, what are the practices they are putting in place in their privacy program, and how well they are handling the data and the protection around. So all these factors will contribute into the governance part of it, because it will tell you in turn that from a data standpoint, which might be the life and blood of an organization in most cases now, is running in a healthy stream. And those numbers can impact your overall ESG score that goes from a representation point. Linking it back to my earlier question of yours, yes, this will also impact your customer trust, as well as it could also be your competitive advantage gradually.